Hi kids, how are you today? It's a lovely day here at Stories in the Dirt. I'm enjoying a beautiful overcast, not too cold, not too warm, gentle breeze. And I want to talk to you a little bit about experiments and my love for experiments. Many of the things that we do here are experimental. Um, it's really been an interesting trek to come up with different ways to use the farm to close the gaps and stack enterprises. So a couple of the things that we're working on, I don't know if you can see behind me, but in the future, this area here, which I'm clearing, will be a berry and mushroom garden. Isn't that going to be fun? Yeah, it's hard to imagine it now, but as you see where we go in the future, you'll get to see how that becomes a garden, kind of a understory garden. Let's go over here and look at some other projects. So behind me here, we can see the lumber that I have already cut to size. This will be a project. I will be building a propagation house where we'll be starting our nursery starts for the season. And there's a few more steps involved, but come back and see how that progresses. We'll do more detailed information on how this propagation house comes together. Behind me here, I'm going to show you some of the posts that I've been preparing for the propagation house. We're going to use what we have available, and so when we came to the property, we had to remove some cedar trees, which we'll talk more about in another episode, but here, take a look at what we've got done. So these have been pulled down and all limbed up. They'll be cleaned up a little bit more, and they'll be used as our posts for the propagation house. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm excited though. So year 2 here on the farm, we took on the project of learning how to raise bees. And you can see right here, our bees are all put away for the winter. It's a very small hive, but it's one we have, and we will continue to experiment and learn how to raise those bees. And wait till you see what we're doing for those bees. They're going to be so happy this year. All the beneficial plants and flowers and things like that. It's going to be really exciting. So there we go. It's a little cool today, so we're not going to see any of them out, but we will one of these days, and I'll get you a good video of that. And behind me here is a 50 by 100 foot silage tarp. And beneath that silage tarp is composting materials that we've put down, and we've tarped them over. Typically in this part of the country, well, in our experience so far, we've had very wet winters. Not so much this year, but because we were very worried about rain washing away our soils and the wind, things like that. We covered it up, so we'll have the benefit of being able to pull that off and get it planted up really, really early in the year because it won't be saturated. You see how much water is sitting there, right? And we haven't even had that much rain. So this is an experiment. We're going to see if our idea works out with this composting in place and then covering it with the tarp. And then we did a second tarp right back there with just a little bit of a different formula. So another experiment to see what works and what doesn't work. So that'll be exciting. So stay tuned to see how that works out. Behind me now is the compost bin. I actually have 2 compost bins. Kind of difficult to see here. There we go. And we have completed 4 experiments with our compost pile, and we are doing another one here, incorporating some different material than we've used in the past. We have had these, I don't know if you can see them sticking out right here, but we have we pick up our feed for the chickens and for the pigs at a local mill. And so we have all these paper bags that are left over. And rather than waste them, we decided to experiment with them to see how they compost. Not sure, never composted with paper before, so this will be interesting. And we keep a daily log. I don't know if you can see over here, we have a thermometer. And we take daily logs of the temperature on the bottom, top, and in the middle, just so we can see how that temperature is staying. You want to have a certain temperature there to know that the microbes are breaking everything down. And we will talk a lot more about compost in many other episodes. Okay, let's see what else we've got going on. So yesterday we talked a little bit about how we're using our chicken coops to transform our paddock from the poverty grass that you see far out here. Yeah, like right there. Into a pasture that's more palatable for our animals, and that will later be turned into an herb garden. So as you can see, those are our chicken tractors in the back. You can see all this green grass right up here, and then further back it's covered in hay. So we're composting as we go, and we'll see how it works out. We're trying to improve our soil here. We're trying to create soil where we didn't have much soil to begin with. So we want to, a lot of our projects here will be around building soil and making a diverse pasture and diverse garden will help with all of that. And therefore, we want to have stuff here in the ground working all the time. So let's see what else we're doing. So here we have what remains of the pasture that we had here before. It is full of, they call it poverty grass because it's the lowest nutrient valued grass, I believe. Somewhere in there, it's not very good. I mean, it grows, it's still growing, so it's good that we've got roots in the ground. But we want to transform this field into a very high nutrient dense pasture for our critters. You know, our piggies and our chickens and hopefully some other critters as well. So this will be a project coming into the spring, and I will keep you informed as to how that progresses, what we're doing to change our pasture into high nutrient dense pasture. And behind me, you can see quite a bit of brush, right? It goes back quite a ways. I have 3 piles of this brush. As we started clearing everything off, my original intention was to burn this and to use the potash where we needed it on the farm, whether it be for animals or for the farm, for the garden itself. Since then, I have decided to do hugelkulturs. That berry garden that we looked at the beginning will have a hugelkultur in it. A hugelkultur is another topic. We can talk a little bit more about that in some other episodes. And I'm also going to be doing that in the vegetable garden, which will be really exciting. So we'll have an opportunity to grow some things that don't like to have wet feet, but we still want to grow them. I want them, so I have to find a way to make it happen. Hence the experiments. So this is another way to close the gap. So we don't want to waste all our resources. We don't want to just throw them away. We want to utilize them. We want to put them to work. In fact, everything on the farm needs to contribute. We're all partners. The chickens, the pigs, the ducks, the branches. It's all part of the whole system. So we want to be able to utilize those things and keep them in working, put them to work, right? Put them to work. So that's a little overview of some of the things that we're working on. Lots more experiments coming up, and let's see. I could talk for hours, so I'm going to cut this out, get back to work. I hope you kids have a great day, and I look forward to sharing our wonderful experiments and experiences with you.